It began with a knock, a soft, gentle tap that didn't carry the weight of trouble. It was more of a quiet reminder that life still moved outside my secluded home. I shuffled to the door, my robe hanging loosely around me, my hair damp from the hasty shower I'd rushed through that morning. When I opened it, I expected to see the mailman, or perhaps a neighbor, but it was Matthew, my best friend's son, 19 now, taller, a little sweaty from the summer heat, wearing a white tank top that clung to his chest and hugged his arms in all the right ways. His curls were wild, his smile full of that youthful, boyish charm. "Hey, Miss Hazel," he said, holding out a small box. "Mom asked me to drop this off for you." His voice had deepened since the last time I heard it, and for a moment, I blinked, caught off guard. I smiled. "Matthew. Oh, goodness. I haven't seen you in months." He handed me the package, and I caught the faintest scent of soap and cologne mixed with sun. A rush of warmth surged through me. "Yeah, been busy with school and stuff," he shrugged. "But Mom said this was important." "Come in," I said, stepping aside. "Let me at least offer you some lemonade." He hesitated, his eyes flickering slightly. "Only if you're sure." "Insist," I pressed. He stepped inside, and something about the way he moved, so relaxed, so confident, made my throat tighten. Maybe it was the way his tank top revealed just enough to make me imagine what lay beneath. Or perhaps it was simply that I had been so lonely for too long. I poured 2 glasses of lemonade, handing one to him. Our fingers brushed for the briefest moment, and when he looked up at me with those deep brown eyes, I felt the world pause. "You look great, by the way," he said softly. I laughed, maybe too quickly. "This old thing?" I gestured to my robe. "The rabbit disagrees?" "No, seriously," he said, taking a sip. "You still got it." His words settled between us like smoke, dangerous, sweet smoke. We moved to the living room, and I sat down, crossing my legs. Suddenly, I was acutely aware of the looseness of my robe, the way it shifted with every movement. Matthew's gaze flickered for just a moment to my bare thigh before he quickly looked away, as if to be polite. I cleared my throat, trying to push the moment from my mind. "So, how's school?" I asked, attempting casual conversation. "Boring," he said with a grin. "I'd rather be doing something with my hands." I swallowed hard, feeling a shift in the air. Maybe it was just me, just my racing thoughts. But I felt it. There was something unspoken now between us, something that hadn't been there before. I took another sip of lemonade, hoping to keep my tone light. "You're good with tools, right?" I asked. "Yeah." He nodded, a grin tugging at his lips. "I helped my uncle with plumbing jobs. Sometimes." The idea slipped into my mind like an innocent suggestion. But there was something darker under its surface. I tried to ignore it, but it lingered. "My shower's been acting funny," I said, my voice low. "Low pressure, and I hate cold water. Think you could take a look?" He sat up straighter, a flash of interest crossing his face. "Sure, if you're not in a hurry." He grinned. "Lead the way." I walked him to the bathroom, my robe shifting with each step, but I didn't bother adjusting it. As I led him inside, I noticed the way he moved, his confidence, his ease, and something inside me stirred. He knelt by the tub, twisting knobs and checking pipes. I stood behind him, watching the muscles in his back shift beneath that thin tank top. "You've got a leak under here," he said, reaching further into the pipes. "Probably needs a washer replaced." "Can it be fixed?" I asked, my voice quieter now. "Yeah, but I might need to run to the hardware store." He looked at me, his face close enough that I could feel his breath on my skin. I crouched next to him, closer than I needed to be. Our shoulders brushed, and for a brief moment, Everything felt still. His gaze flickered down the loose fold of my robe, and I felt my heart race. I should have pulled away. I should have said something. Anything. But I didn't. Neither did he. The silence between us spoke louder than any words could. "Thanks, Matthew," I whispered, my voice barely audible. His response was just a soft gaze. "For what?" His voice was low, like a secret. "For making me feel something again." He didn't say anything more. He just stared at me. And in that moment, everything shifted. That night, I lay in bed, touching my lips as if he had kissed them. He hadn't. At least not yet. But I wanted him to. I shouldn't have. He was my best friend's son, young, handsome, curious. But desire doesn't follow rules. I had opened a door to something I didn't know how to close. The next morning, I couldn't stop thinking about Matthew. His eyes, his hands. The way he looked at me like I was more than just someone's mother, more than just an old widow, in a silk robe. I stood in front of the mirror, brushing my hair. My robe was tied just a little tighter today, but it didn't matter. I still noticed how my skin seemed to glow, as if it remembered the warmth of his gaze. He hadn't touched me. I heard a knock at the door again. My heart skipped a beat. Was it him? I opened it, and yes, there he was. Matthew. But this time, he wasn't in a tank top. He wore a black t-shirt that hugged his chest, his jeans hanging just right. In his hand, he held a small brown bag. "Bro washer," he said, lifting the bag. "Thought I'd finish fixing your shower." I let out a small laugh, a nervous attempt to hide how quickly my heart was beating. "You're too kind." He stepped inside again, as if he'd always belonged here. I watched the way he moved, comfortable, confident, with a quiet strength. We walked toward the bathroom again, my robe brushing against my thighs. His eyes noticed, but they didn't linger. He knelt by the tub, opening the bag and getting to work. I sat on the edge of the tub, trying to pretend I wasn't staring at him, but I couldn't help it. My gaze kept slipping back to him. "You keep looking at me," he said, his voice low, without turning his head. I smiled, trying to keep things light. "You're easy on the eyes." He looked up slowly, meeting my gaze. "So are you." The silence hung between us, thick with something unsaid. It pulled me deeper than words ever could. "Need a towel?" I asked suddenly, standing up a bit too fast. "Yeah," he replied. "My hands are wet." I turned and walked to the linen cabinet. My robe slipped slightly off my shoulder, but I didn't bother, adjusting it. When I turned back around, he was standing there, closer than before. Water dripped from his hands. "Here," I whispered, handing him the towel. He took it, but instead of drying his hands right away, he reached up and gently wiped a drop of water from my collarbone with his fingers. His touch was soft, too soft. Inhaled sharply. "Hazel," he said, his voice almost like a question. I looked into his eyes. There was no guilt there, only heat, want, wonder. I didn't stop him. His hand moved to my waist, and then, just like that, his lips were on mine. It wasn't fast. It wasn't wild. It was slow, sweet, and tentative. He tested me, and I melted into him. My hand found its way up his chest, feeling his heartbeat race, just like mine. He pulled back just a little. "I've wanted to do that since yesterday," he whispered. I swallowed hard, the confession hitting me deep. "I've wanted that since before you knocked." The words cracked something between us, something fragile that would never be the same. He kissed me again, deeper this time. My robe fell open, and I didn't stop it. His hands roamed over me, exploring, as if I were a book he'd been dying to read. Every curve, every inch, every quiet moan I tried to hold back. I was a woman again. Not just a widow. Not just someone's mother. I was desired. Craved. Alive. Later, we lay on the soft bathroom rug, bodies tangled, hearts thudding in time. Neither of us spoke right away. Finally, Matthew whispered, "Was that okay?" I turned my head to look at him. Better than okay. I didn't want to push you, he added, his voice quieter now. You didn't, I said. I wanted this as much as you did. He smiled, a bright, glowing smile that made him look younger, yet somehow stronger. We probably shouldn't tell anyone, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. He nodded. They wouldn't understand. I looked up at the ceiling, the weight of everything pressing down. I don't even understand it, I said softly. But I don't regret it. And I didn't. Because in that small, warm bathroom, I had found something I thought I'd lost: desire, touch, connection, something more than loneliness. And it came in the form of a 19-year-old boy who made me feel like a woman again. The next morning, I woke up wearing Matthew's black t-shirt. It smelled like him, clean, young, and full of mischief. He had left after our moment in the bathroom with a nervous smile and flushed cheeks. But before he walked out, he pulled me into one last kiss. Slower this time. Longer. As if he wanted to remember how I tasted. Now, as I walked barefoot into my kitchen, his shirt falling to mid-thigh, I still felt the warmth of his hands. The longing hadn't gone away. I poured myself a cup of coffee, sat at the counter, and stared out the window. The sun was already high, birds were chirping, but inside me, a storm had started. What did we do? I was 56. He was 19. My best friend's son. I should have stopped it. I should have pushed him away. But I didn't. Because for the first time in years, I had been touched. Really touched. Not just skin to skin, but heart to heart. He made me feel seen. Around noon, my phone buzzed. A text. Matthew, can I come over later? I stared at the message for a moment, my thumbs hovering over the keyboard. I typed, yes, doors open. The moment I hit send, my heart beat faster. By 2 p.m., he was standing in my doorway again, holding a bag of groceries. Figured I'd cook you something today, he said, stepping inside. You cook now? I asked, raising an eyebrow. Not well, he grinned. But I try. I laughed and led him to the kitchen. He set the bag down and began pulling out pasta, tomatoes, and a small block of cheese. He looked so innocent in that moment. Like this wasn't strange. Like this was just what we always did. He boiled the pasta while I chopped the tomatoes. We worked side by side, our shoulders bumping now and then. Sometimes our hands touched. When we reached for the same spoon, little sparks, harmless, but hot. Hazel, he asked quietly. I paused, glancing at him. Did I cross a line yesterday? I looked at him, really looked at him. And in that instant, I saw more than just a teenage boy with a crush. I saw a man full of questions and curiosity. And maybe, just maybe, something deeper. No, I said softly. You didn't cross anything. We both stepped into something together. He nodded, but the silence that followed told me he was still unsure. I know it's not normal, he said, his voice hesitant. You're older, you're you. I'm what? Beautiful, smart, out of my league? I blinked, then smiled. You're sweet. He looked at me like he wanted to say more, but instead he stepped closer. His fingers reached out, gently brushing my cheek. "Can I kiss you again?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. I nodded, and just like that, our mouths met again. Softer this time, less rushed, more careful. His arms wrapped around my waist, and I felt myself melt against him. My hands slipped under his shirt, fingers exploring the smooth lines of his stomach. He gasped softly, and that sound stirred something deep inside me. We kissed until the water boiled over, hissing against the stove. Later, we sat on the couch with plates of half-burnt pasta in our laps, laughing about how bad it tasted. "I think we should have ordered pizza," I teased. "Next time, I'll let you cook," he joked. His hand rested on my bare thigh, fingers drawing light circles on my skin. I didn't move. I didn't flinch. I wanted it. I needed it. "Are you scared?" he asked. I thought for a moment, then nodded. "Yes, but I'm not sorry." He leaned in and kissed my shoulder. "Me neither." There it was again, the pull, the ache between something innocent and something we knew would get us into trouble. But in that moment it didn't matter. All that mattered was the way his touch made me feel, like I was blooming again, alive. Wanted, loved. Not yet, but maybe someday. That night he didn't leave right away. We lay in bed, his chest against my back, his breath warm on my neck. His hand found mine under the sheets and held it tight. Warm, safe. And I realized then, this wasn't just a moment. This was becoming something more. Something dangerous. Something real. I lay trembling beneath him. Would she ever forgive me? Matthew woke up not long after. He came up behind me in the kitchen, wrapped his arms around my waist, and pressed a kiss into the crook of my neck. "Morning," he said, sleepy-eyed and smiling. "Morning," I whispered. But my voice was different, tense, careful. He noticed right away. "What's wrong?" he asked. I turned in his arms and held his face in my hands. "Matthew, we need to talk." His smile faded. He knew, "This can't keep happening," I said softly. "We crossed a line, and I don't regret it. But it's complicated. Too complicated." He didn't say anything. He just stared into my eyes, like he was searching for something to hold on to. "You're 19, I added quietly. "And I'm me." "You're not just anything," he said quickly, his voice intense. "You're everything I've been thinking about since the moment I walked into your house." His words made my heart ache, but my fear was louder. "What if your mom finds out?" I whispered. "What if this ruins everything?" He stepped closer, his hands gently gripping my hips. "Then we'll be careful." "But how long can we keep hiding?" I asked. He hesitated, and in that pause, we both knew. It wasn't just lust anymore. What we had was dangerous. It was fire, with no water nearby. 2 days passed. I didn't call him. He didn't text. I kept telling myself it was over. But then, on the third afternoon, my phone rang. It was her. Matthew's mom. My heart leapt into my throat. I answered, trying to sound normal. "Hey, sweetie," she said cheerfully. "Jay told me he came by to fix your shower. Thank you for letting him help. He said he felt so grown up around you." I swallowed hard. "He was a big help," I said slowly. "I swear, that boy is growing into such a gentleman," she continued. "He told me you made him pasta too. Said it was awful but sweet." I laughed nervously. "He's not wrong." There was a pause. Then she said something that made my blood run cold. "You know," she said softly, "he talks about you a lot, like a lot more than just a neighbor." My breath caught. I didn't know what to say. "I don't know." "What's going on, Hazel?" she continued. "But you're like a sister to me, and I trust you." Trust. That word hit me like a ton of bricks, twisting guilt in my stomach. That night I texted him, "Matthew, we need to stop." He replied almost instantly, "Why?" "Your mom is starting to suspect. This can't go on." There was a pause before his next message came through. "But I love you." My fingers froze over the screen. Love. My eyes welled up. No one had said that word to me in years, but I knew what I had to do. "Then love me enough to let this go," I replied, "before it destroys everything." His final message came through. "You'll always be the first woman who made me feel alive." I haven't seen Matthew since that night. Sometimes I catch myself standing by the window, waiting for a knock that never comes. But I remember the way he touched me, the way he kissed me, like I mattered. And for that short time, I wasn't just a widow with a broken shower. I was a woman rediscovering what it felt like to be wanted. Sometimes love doesn't come in a forever package. Sometimes it's just a moment, a stolen kiss, a whisper in the dark, and that has to be enough. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Hit the bell so you never miss an update. And remember, sometimes the most powerful moments are the ones we least expect. Until next time, take care and keep feeling all the emotions life has to offer.